stopping. He's going back. He's going to run down. Ball gets away. This one's over.
Oh my freaking goodness.
But I got the Twins signing Carlos Correa.
Dead Passant has the Giants getting Chris Bryant.
I am taking the Atlanta Braves. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Humm Baby Baseball channel. It's time for my annual free agent prediction video. I'm only going to do the top 10 this year. I haven't traditionally done very well on these. My only claim to fame is predicting Carlos Correa to go to the Twins, as you saw in the intro there. But this year is going to be crazy. I mean, there are some massive names out there, tons of money to be spent. Record-breaking money is going to be spent this offseason, and it's tough to say who's going where, especially when you got teams like the Dodgers deferring money left and right. You got teams like the Mets with an endless amount of money to spend. Yes, there are taxes and penalties. Teams don't always care. The Yankees are going to do everything in their power to get back to the World Series and win it this time. It's going to be nuts. Buster Posey is the new president of baseball operations with the Giants. What's he going to do? Is he going to land a marquee free agent? What about the Blue Jays? Is a surprise team going to jump in and grab some of these guys? Let's get into it. Let's just talk about some of these players. Put your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm sure it's all going to be super friendly and no one's going to be pissed off at all. Let's get into it. At number 10, we have Tanner Scott. This is a dude who would be a great fit for pretty much any team. He's one of the premier relievers in the game. 1.75 ERA for the Marlins and Padres. Everyone needs bullpen help. But one team that's kind of had a reputation in the past decade or so for having a horrible bullpen. It's gotten better, but they want to improve it even more. And it's a team that has money to spend. I think that they will be able to afford Tanner Scott. Not sure about some of the top guys, but the Philadelphia Phillies seems like a great fit. I'm going to say Tanner Scott ends up with the Phillies. Number 9, Jack Flaherty. He bet on himself with a one-year deal in 2024, and he had a great season, 13-7, 3.17 ERA, 10.8 per 9 strikeout ratio. But he also had some bad games, some rough starts in the playoffs. Ultimately, his team won it all, and he looked really eager to come back to Los Angeles in some of the interviews that were going on during the parade.
This is unbelievable. I love this city. I never want to leave.
Originally, I thought the Dodgers would re-sign him, but I'm not sure that they would want to on a big multi-year deal. He did the one-year thing. I think he's going to want a multi-year deal. The Dodgers, they would love to have him, but he's been inconsistent. And after thinking about it, I think a team like the Red Sox would be more willing to give him the deal he's looking for. That's a team that needs pitching. They got a little bit of money to spend. So I'm going to say at the end of the day, Jack Flaherty ends up signing with the Red Sox.
Are you stupid or something?
Number 8, Willie Adams. He just hit over 30 home runs for the second time in his career, 112 runs driven in. He's a solid fielder. Tons of teams would be interested. But one team that is going to make some big moves this offseason that I just talked about is my favorite team, the San Francisco Giants. They really need to address the middle infield. We do have some prospects like Casey Schmidt, Marco Luciano. We got Tyler Fitzgerald. He looked like he was going to break Barry Bonds' record for home runs here for a few weeks this year. He was just on fire. But none of these guys really claimed the shortstop or second base position. So I'm 99% sure the Giants are going to sign or trade for a serious middle infielder, and Willie Adams could be the one. He seems like a great fit, and I'm going to say he ends up signing with the San Francisco Giants.
It cannot happen, would not happen.
Number 7, Pete Alonso. I was just a guest on a podcast called the Sports Avenue Twisted Podcast. I'll put the link in the description. And we talked about all these guys and more, and I just kept hearing the Giants come up. Everyone was saying, Giants are going to get him, Giants are going to get him. Pete Alonso was another one. He could throw weight in the outfield or do something that would be amazing. I don't see it happening. I think Pete Alonso, I'd be thrilled to have him, but almost feel like he hits too many home runs. Giants haven't had a 30 home run hitter since Barry Bonds, believe it or not. So it would be amazing, but I think at the end of the day, I'll just say it, I think he ends up staying in New York. I know he turned down an extension offer, a huge extension offer. He wants to test the market, but I think he'll get some big offers, but the Mets are going to pretty much match whatever he gets. He ends up staying there and returning to Queens. Number 6, Anthony Santander. 44 bombs this season. He's going to be a super hot name this offseason, and is another guy I'd love to have. Another guy who could hit 30-plus home runs here in San Francisco. But, like I just said, I don't think we're getting a big home run hitter. I think we need to, but I just don't think it's happening. The Orioles, they have a ton of up-and-coming talent, so I don't think he stays in Baltimore. There are so many good matches. The Phillies, the Blue Jays, maybe even the Dodgers, Yankees, or Padres. You can never put anyone past some of these teams. But I'm going to go with a surprise pick here. So get ready to light up the comment section. I don't know if this team would be willing to spend the money, but they had such a great run in 2024. They just got to add a little more talent to put them over the top. They're trying to win their first World Series since 1948. Get ready for the hate comments. I got Santander signing with the Cleveland Guardians.
No, say it's not Cleveland.
Number 5, Max Fried, one of the better pitchers in the game. He's only ever been an Atlanta Brave throughout his entire career. He should be heavily sought after by almost every team that needs starting pitching, which is pretty much every team. Giants, going to be interested. Dodgers, going to be interested. Red Sox, going to be interested. Padres, Orioles, Rangers. It's hard to envision him in a different uniform, but at the end of the day, as a guy from LA, it seems unlikely he'll be back in Atlanta. I said on that podcast I thought he was going to go to the Padres, but we talked about it, and it's true. The Padres drafted him. They would love to have him back, kind of to undo that terrible trade. I believe it was for B.J. Upton. At the end of the day, the Dodgers are going to match any offer. The Dodgers will pay whatever it takes. And he did grow up, I believe, a Dodgers fan. And it does seem more likely he would go home and sign with the Dodgers. Why would he sign with the Padres when the Dodgers pretty much can match anything? So I hate to say it, but I do think Max Fried ends up signing with the Los Angeles Dodgers. No! Number 4, Alex Bregman, one of the most solid third basemen in the game. He looked like a future Hall of Famer, and he still might be. But back in 2019, it was like, this guy is amazing. He had over 40 home runs, OPS over 1,000. He hasn't really got back to that level. Still a great player, 26 home runs this season. Lots of teams will be in on him. Even teams that already have a third baseman. I was thinking Diamondbacks, but they just picked up their option on Eugenio Suarez, so probably not going to go there. You got the Cubs, you got the Mariners, but there's another team that has a manager that Alex Bregman knows very well, and that's A.J. Hinch and the Detroit Tigers. I think there's a very strong possibility there. The thing about it is his agent is Scott Boras. Pretty much everyone for the rest of the video is Scott Boras. The Astros don't typically spend a ton of money in free agency. I think that this is a situation that might go late into the offseason, maybe even into spring training. And eventually, I think that they may take a little less than they want, but I think he will reunite with A.J. Hinch and sign with the Detroit Tigers. They could move Jace Young around somewhere else or trade him, but Bregman's obviously an upgrade, and I think the Tigers go for it, trying to just get over the hump and get to that next level, get to the World Series. So Alex Bregman to the Tigers. Number 3, Blake Snell. Back at the All-Star break, I and pretty much every Giants fan thought that this guy would probably opt in, and we didn't even want him to opt in because he was so bad in that first half. After missing spring training, he would be just ineffective or injured. It was bad. And then all of a sudden, in the second half, he is the best pitcher in the game. 5-0, 2.23 ERA in his last 14 starts, threw a no-hitter. Now he's opting out, and lots of money will get thrown his way. But last offseason, he was the Cy Young Award winner and still didn't sign till after spring training. They can't let that happen again. He has to sign with someone before pitchers and catchers report, in my opinion. Otherwise, you're just asking for another disaster. So lots of teams would love to have him. The Padres want him back. The Giants want him back. The teams like the Reds will be in on him. The Royals will be in on him, like some surprise teams. The Cubs maybe, the Rangers maybe. But I'm going to say a team that will be desperate to get back to the World Series. They're going to spend whatever it takes. They're going over every tax, every penalty. They don't care. They got to win it all. They will pony up the cash, in my opinion. Now, again, it could any of these teams like the Padres or the Mets or the Dodgers could also do the same. But I'm going to say the New York Yankees make their team even better and create one of the most dominant rotations, especially at the top of that rotation with Garrett Cole. It's going to be crazy. The New York Yankees are going to sign Blake Snell.
They wouldn't dare. They wouldn't dare.
Speaking of Garrett Cole, I am aware that he did just opt out of his contract, but the Yankees have the option to retain him by adding some more money to that deal. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I do know the Yankees will have an option to just void that opt-out and keep him. I think they would do that. So I'm going under the assumption that Garrett Cole is staying with the Yankees. But certainly if he ends up a free agent, there's another wrench in this entire offseason, this crazy offseason with all these insane players and this insane talent. It would be nuts if he goes into free agency. But as of now, the Yankees are, I guess, deciding whether or not they want to go ahead and keep him. I'm going to say that they do that. So Garrett Cole, also a New York Yankee. Moving on to the top two. Number 2, Corbin Burns. Outstanding season with the Orioles. 15-9, 2.92 ERA. Like all the other starters on this list, he could be a fit for any team. But the question is, who can afford him? Who's going to be willing to afford him? What he and his agent will be asking for. And his agent, shocker, Scott Boras. Obviously, the Orioles would love to have him back. But with Boras, this could go late in the offseason, asking for something insane. Burns is great, but teams are going to be a little bit wiser as far as handing out massive contracts to pitchers who only pitch every 5th game and are more susceptible to injury. This one might go deep into the offseason. The Cubs have a shot at him. Could end up there. He could reunite with Craig Counsell. I'm going to say at the end of the day, they don't get the contract they want. They don't get the dollars they want. They don't get the years they want. And Corbin Burns kind of re-signs with the Orioles at the last minute, kind of like Carlos Correa with the Twins. He ends up staying put in Baltimore. And number 1, Juan Soto. This guy may not have to take too much less than he and his agent, surprise, surprise, Scott Boras, will be wanting. And that's Juan Soto. He's not the best defensively. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he can hit like no one else. 41 bombs for the Yankees. OPS just under 1,000. And he was fantastic in the postseason. He can work walks. He's so patient at the plate. Just an all-around superstar. He can absolutely enhance any lineup, and he makes the entire lineup better and the entire team better. The Blue Jays will be in on him. The Giants will be in on him. But once the contract talks are about, $500 million and moving upwards around $600 million, I don't think the Giants are going there. I don't think the Blue Jays are going there. In fact, the only 3 teams I can even see even being in that ballpark would be the Yankees, Dodgers, and Mets. But after just falling short, I think the Yankees are going to pay whatever it takes. The only thing I'm worried about is the Dodgers and the deferment game. Can they just defer $1 billion, $1.5 billion, $2 billion? We'll pay it to you later when you're 70 years old. I mean, who knows? But at the end of the day, I'm going to say the Yankees refuse to let him go. Maybe they can play that deferment game too. But even if he wants all his money up front, which I would want, I wouldn't do what Ohtani did. I don't even know if I'm going to be alive in 10, 20 years. You're paying me now, but hey, it is what it is. And I would assume Juan Soto won't allow any team to defer money like that. So I'll say even the Dodgers decide it's just too much. And the Yankees end up paying whatever it takes. He re-signs there and he stays a New York Yankee.
Yankees win. The Yankees win.
And there you have it. And yeah, I had the Yankees getting Soto. I had the Yankees getting Snell. I have the Yankees keeping Cole. And maybe that's too much, but I think that's, when you get that close to a World Series ring and you fall short, especially when you're a team like the Yankees, they haven't won one since 2009. I just think the desperation is at an all-time high, and they're going to do whatever it takes. The Dodgers obviously will do what it takes to repeat, but they already have an insane payroll. I mean, what more can they do? I do have them landing Max Fried, but other than that, there's not a lot of improvements they need. They're already pretty well stacked going into 25, so it's going to be a lot of fun. What do you guys think? Let me know in that comment section down below. I know you will. It's going to be crazy. I'll be looking into the comment section. I'll reply to a few of y'all. Let me know down below. Maybe this video won't do too well. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't, because I really don't. This is not my favorite video to do every year, but tradition is tradition, and we got to do it. So here it is. You guys have a great one, and we'll see you next time.